Mike check. This is the More of You podcast. This is Count Noble L. Dallas L. Bailey Bay, episode 3. Now, I want to cover a little history, little bit. We're gonna do it real fast. The thing about history is they're trying to get it out of schools now. They don't really want to teach the racist past of the United States of America. And that's fine. You can keep it out of school. But the issue is the things that they want to repeat and get you to believe while negating the reasons, like as if they just happened. Now, through history, you get a more accurate account of who, where, what, and why. It gives you places, give you individuals, gives you nations. It gives you the politics, the division of those times and spaces in the past. So we won't repeat them in the future. If you don't know where you've been, you definitely won't know where you're going because you might end up in the same spot. Now, there's a very popular, it has been a very popular movie, book in the history of the Black community. I remember as a child when this series came on television, it stopped America. Everyone watched, especially in the Black community, or the so-called people that are called Black in their communities. And it was the series of Roots. I don't know too many. I don't know if our young people today know about Roots, or our teenagers, or our 20-year-olds, but definitely if you are in your 30s and 40s and older, you definitely know about Roots, a book that was supposedly written by Alex Haley. There we go right there. Roots by Alex Haley. The Roots, the saga of an American family. You know, the name of Kuta Kinte, Chicken George, this bloodline of individuals supposedly came from Africa. The Saga of an American Family was a 1976 novel written by Alex Haley. It tells the story of Kuta Kinte and the 18th century African captured as an adolescent, sold into slavery in Africa, transported to North America, following his life and the lives of his descendants in the United States down to Haley himself. Published August 17th, 1976. Now, this community, the so-called Black community, was very affected by the series when it came out. I was born in 1975. The book came out in 1976. I'm not sure when the series came out. I believe it was around 1980. Could be wrong, but around that time, the beginning of the 80s, early 80s. And so-called Black community stood still, watching this saga of the enslaved African brought to the Americas, and watching this bloodline go to generation to generation, from a proud African to a bootlicking Chicken George sleep slave. Um, I want to ask the public: have you ever heard of a Harold Corlander and the book he wrote called The African? The African is a 1967 novel of a young African boy kidnapped from his homeland by French slave traders. And it shows the degradation, humiliation, possibly the courage of this individual, of this African that was enslaved by the French. Now, I know more people are more aware of Roots and how this was supposed to be connected to Alex Haley and his family, his bloodline. But the thing about history is a lot of it isn't true. So, in a settlement ended in a 6-week trial of a suit by Harold Colander, a 70-year-old author from Bethesda, Maryland, who contended there were substantial similarities between Roots and his own earlier novel, The African. He sued in federal district court in Manhattan for more than half of the profits of Roots. And he won. This is a December 15th, 1978 article. Roots, plagiarism, suit is settled. Um, Now what the Black community knows of Roots is that everything was true. There is a community that knows it isn't, but we more know that it's true. We don't know that it's not true. And that happens with a lot of us so-called, or those so-called Black Americans. I, being a Moor, don't identify myself as a color. I have a nation. It's called America. The thing about the indigenous people here in America is, where are they? Everybody here came from somewhere else other than America. So what happens to the Americans? Native Americans are native. They're not from America. Native meaning you're born there, but you're not from there. Just a little history and how it's dangerous not to know it. Peace and great health. You can check me out on IG, count_noble_L Dallas, ELDALLAS, or you can email me at eps.more@gmail.com.